Why don't we go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture? If there's any doubt about the status of devices that might interrupt your meditation, now would be a good time to check. Otherwise, let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture, taking care to ensure that your spine is straight and relaxed. When you are ready, please go ahead and softly close your eyes. And in your own time, please bring your awareness to the exhalation of your breath and allow both your physical body and your mind to start to settle and rest, to become quiet and still. When you are ready in your own time, please go ahead and gently transition into meditation on the inner body. Become the silent observer of sensations within your inner body. to support you in your meditation, you may find it beneficial to bring to mind the image of a mountain. The mountain is balanced, grounded, and stable. If the mountain does have consciousness, you can know that all it does day after day, year after year, is observe silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow. The sun may shine. A small sapling may grow into a giant tree, become uprooted, and then fall to the ground. The mountain simply observes silently. No judgment, no comparing, no speculation, no expectation. Please be like a mountain. Be like a mountain with ancient wisdom consciousness as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. Now, very gently, please redirect your awareness. Allow your consciousness to become less absorbed as you begin to arise from meditation. We dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May leaders of countries who are at odds with one another swiftly come to recognize that nothing is accomplished with minds of self-centeredness and anger, and instead, may they solve their differences with minds of patient acceptance, wisdom, and compassion. And may we individually in our own daily lives come to solve our differences, our disputes with others, using minds of patient acceptance, wisdom, and compassion. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back, everyone. So, congratulations on completing your first 2 weeks of meditation. That's a wonderful, wonderful achievement. I'm really, really happy for all of us collectively. It's a very, very wonderful, meaningful thing. As we have gone through our first 2 weeks of practice together and instruction, I would imagine that for some of you, you have had the recognition that this program that we're learning, this practice that we're learning, is about learning how to meditate. And it's even more about training the mind. And in this regard, I would invite you to recall the distinction that we've made a couple of times over the last 2 weeks about the difference between altered states and altered traits. Altered states bringing about a more relaxed disposition, a more relaxed experience in the moment, a more, maybe even more blissful experience in the moment. Achieving a state where we're relieved of our stress and our anxiety, bringing about an altered state. That's great. Getting a relief from our suffering, from our monkey mind or our anxiety, our stress, our anger, whatever it might be. Getting relief from that is a good thing, period. And real fundamental change, real existential change is going to come through altered traits. Altered states could be enough if we had the wherewithal to sit in meditation 24/7, 365, right? But the fact of the matter is that we have lives to live, and we can't sit on the cushion all day. We want to go out and interact with others, and others can press our buttons sometimes, hence the need for us to apply ourselves to achieving altered traits. And that comes about through training the mind. The difference between training the mind and meditation practice is meditation is part of the practice of training the mind, And there's much more to it. There's practice during the meditation session. Practice during the meditation break is also a part of training the mind. Setting our intention involves more training the mind, achieving altered traits, altered ways of being, not just getting a temporary break from our anger or our desires, but getting to a point where freedom from anger, freedom of desire is our default. It's our natural state in which we abide in all the time, altered traits. And it occurs to me that we haven't talked about the definition of mind. And we need to do that before we start talking about delusions, which we're going to do. Delusions being deluded states of mind. And there are lots of them, and they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. Basically, at its fundamental essence, I think the pervasive overriding delusion is thinking that the world exists separate from our mind. The world that we experience exists separate from our mind. When the truth is, the wisdom recognition is that the world that we experience exists independence upon our mind. 2 words, independence upon our mind. 3 words, I guess, rather than separate from our mind. And on Wednesday, we're going to start going into what are called the 3 root delusions. The 3 root delusions, we uproot those delusions and completely eradicate them, and we're done suffering forever. And that's a remarkable opportunity for us to have. Before we do, for the rest of our class here this morning, I want to talk about the definition of mind. And when I'll send out a link for today's class, and I'll include the definition. You can write it down now if you'd like, but know that I'll include it in the body of the email that I send later today. Definition of mind is a formless continuum that functions to perceive and understand objects. A formless continuum that functions to perceive and understand objects. So noteworthy, kind of unpacking this definition, a formless continuum, meaning that the mind is not the brain. The brain is an organ, a physical organ that is domiciled within the skull. Mind or consciousness, and I use those 2 terms synonymously, mind and consciousness. Mind is a formless continuum. It has no form. It's not bounded by time or space. And another important distinction to make is some of you, I would imagine, maybe most of you are familiar with Eckhart Tolle and have read The Power of Now or A New Earth, maybe listened to some of his discourses. I certainly know I have. Eckhart Tolle talks about mind. Please know that when he uses the expression mind, he is necessarily talking about the thinking mind, the conceptual mind. So when in this program, in this training, when we use the word mind, it's a little bit different from how Eckhart Tolle uses it. He equates it with thinking mind, whereas our definition of mind includes thinking mind, but it also includes non-conceptual awareness. So we have kind of a broader application of the term mind. So formless continuum. The word continuum means that it continues. One moment of consciousness gives rise to the next moment of consciousness, which in turn gives rise to the next moment of consciousness, and on in a continuum. In fact, this may be getting too I may be showing my meditation nerd colors here too much, but it's important to know, it may be important now, maybe later, that the substantial cause of a moment of consciousness is the previous moment of consciousness. So this moment of consciousness now is the substantial cause of the next moment of consciousness, as in cause and effect. So that for this morning, that might be helpful in enabling us to grasp the continuum aspect of the definition. Formless continuum that functions to perceive and understand objects. A little bit more about the formless aspect of consciousness is that it is not bound by time or space, as I said a minute ago. And to get an experience of this, I'd like to do a little exercise. It's one of my favorite exercises. So just a short little meditation. Please go ahead and close your eyes again and allow yourself to drop back into a meditation posture and a state of meditation. Take a deep breath in and let that breath let go completely. And I would like you now to please use your mind and your imagination to travel. I'd like you to travel out of the room that you are presently seated in. And I'd like you to travel either down the hallway or into your neighboring room. Whichever way it is, whichever path you take, I'd like you to make your way into your kitchen. And once you arrive into the kitchen, I'd like you to position yourself in front of your refrigerator. And now I'd like you to enter into the refrigerator and take a look at what is placed on the top shelf of your refrigerator. Just take a look around and see what's there. And now fill your lungs up with air. Return back to the room that you're currently located in, and you can open your eyes. Noteworthy about this, I hope that wasn't a disturbing exercise for you. My refrigerator can get kind of scary sometimes, but I don't want this to be a frightening exercise. Noteworthy about this exercise is that your body, including your brain, remained in the room that you're currently sitting in, and your consciousness traveled into the kitchen, in front of the refrigerator, inside the refrigerator. That's a very simple and to my way of thinking, a very effective way of recognizing that consciousness is a formless continuum. It's not bound by space. Your body is bound by space, but not your consciousness. So it can go to the moon if we want. Our consciousness can travel to the moon. It can travel back in time. It can travel forward in time. Our body, or no part of our body, is consciousness, although there's consciousness residing in the body. And we've been moving toward a recognition about the interconnectedness of mind and body. We can't say, it's helpful at this point in our practice to recognize that consciousness is a formless continuum, whereas our physical body is not. So, formless continuum that functions to perceive and understand objects. It's through our consciousness that we perceive and experience objects and understand them conceptually. So this is the definition of mind, and this is what we're going to be applying ourselves to over the next couple of weeks and beyond, should you choose to do so, for training the mind and bringing about not only altered states, but altered traits that benefit both ourselves and those around us. One other thought that I'd like to share with you, back to the fact that it's Martin Luther King Day. You may or may not know that Lotus Center recently launched a blog site that is called Undoing Racism. We created this blog in response to the death of George Floyd in May of 2020. Yeah, it's been that long. But this blog site is on Lotus Center's webpage, and we do 2 posts once a week, one on Mondays and one on Fridays. Today is Monday. Today's Martin Luther King Day. And the post that's going to come up later today is about Martin Luther King. So if you haven't already done so, please feel free to check out this blog. If you go to Lotus's webpage, it's, well, you guys know the address. And there's a menu bar across the top. On the far right, as you're facing the screen, is an item called Insights. Click on Insights, and that will take you into Undoing Racism. And you have an option to subscribe to the blog too, to get notifications when new posts have been made. So there it is. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your day. And I hope to see you on Wednesday when we start talking about the 3 root delusions. Bye, everybody.